I'd like to take a look at Dungeon 2 and Dungeon 3. We're starting out here as we always do in 1, 2, 5, but actually we're gonna say goodbye. We're gonna say goodbye to 1, 2, 5 because here is our Dungeon 2. We look down there, and here is our Dungeon 3. And these are nearly identical. Dungeon 2, when first updated for 1.8.1, was essentially a MC edit copy paste. Same for Dungeon 3. As I mentioned before, Dungeon 1 was completely redone. A lot of the difference in this version of the map is the surrounding area, making it look just way more 3D, a lot more depth. The main reason I want to kind of walk through this this dungeon in this version is just so you can see the block palette. Put on night vision, and let's take a look. Now, a lot of the chests are going to be very similar, at least in name, and there'll be a name up here. Sorry, I hate that my mouse jumps around like that. The spawners will spawn custom mobs. My custom mobs in this version are all name tagged, and they have equipment. And that was to kind of help clue you in that they're different. A lot of the chests are going to be the same, so we don't need to keep looking at them. But basically, I had flame skeletons, flame zombies, basic resources, smoke clouds, which are just blazes that are invisible. A lot of these bats everywhere. A lot of these were improved for the next version, which we'll look at. But it's just a basic shape. It's cut out. It loops back on its fourth. We'll look at it in spectator mode. If you were to speedrun this map, as I think someone's planning on doing, you can cut through a lot of different places. But you can also take your time, make each area safe, carefully explore each area, try not to fall into the lava. Mob griefing is off now. It wasn't for the very first original map, and that causes some serious issues in here if something explodes and caves in the caves with actual lava. Rather than hiding 9 gold ingots, we're now hiding the challenge block fragments, at least in this version, and I needed a place to put gold, so here's the gold. So you could collect that and build a gold block. And for the next version, the Bedrock Edition, I've opted to not worry about that. Here's our Gale Force Bow, Punch 3, Power 1, Knockback 2. Nice loot that levels up as you go throughout the map. And then we have the good old wool box. In spectator mode, let's just embed ourselves in a block so we can kind of see through everything. Oh man, I did not realize how close the fleecy box is to right here. You could just, if you could get into the lava, that might be the fastest. Anyway, that's for somebody else to figure out. But if we zoom over to the entrance, here is the entrance. And right to the left is the secondary stairwell that goes down deeper. But we loop you around this way and down. I don't know, say we, because it's me. I. And then I loop you back up. And all this time, you're right beneath, just beneath the surface. And then you come back around to the second staircase. think. Is that what you do? Oh my gosh, I don't even know. I'm lost myself. Let's see. No, I loop you past the second staircase, around again, unnecessarily. Right here. Come inside so you can kind of get your bearings. Where we turn and reach the top of the second staircase. And there's this little thing here. Well, actually, you could kind of dig through and get straight to the wool box there, too. A little not as cheaty. You go to the second stairwell, you come down, not too far. And then it's just a little loop. A little donut here. Then you come up. And you win. Let's zoom over to Dungeon 2. Oh my gosh, the lava looks so good. Be quiet, bRanN, you've already said that. So we come over here. Now the main thing I tried to do for this update was spice it up a bit. New signs, slightly different blocks. Already we have the different kind of colored sandstone. It's a little bit on theme. Night vision. The chests, I've given them these glass blocks, which we've talked about before, and I kind of changed the contents a little bit of these chests. I was less shy about the ores, and a lot of these mobs are, it's essentially a zombie, but it has the different things, similar to what I gave it before, except now instead of throwing armor on it, I don't need to do that. I can actually just change the texture. And so that it's obviously something magma related based on the look. And they still have a sword, where if they hit you, it's gonna hurt. We kind of slowly change into the different color sandstones, and we have the different cobblestones mixed in. Actually even made different creeper blocks, chiseled blocks of the different colors, which I've used in this map to hide where the spawners are. I don't like hidden spawners that much, unless the idea of an area is you're not supposed to destroy the spawners. And here's our flame skeleton. Now these flame skeletons are supposed to catch you on fire too, but they don't. They have a flame bow. It should work. It just doesn't. Eventually, something will be updated because it feels like a bug. Here's our other blazes. I couldn't quite make them completely invisible. I'm sure there's a way. There's a lot of things I'm learning, but it's a lot less one tone. And the monsters, the mobs, the bad guys, they got some different colors to them, so you can tell that you should expect a variation in their behavior or what they do. Silverfish, a lot more tip signs, a lot more orange tip signs, which didn't exist before. How much fall damage do you think? Ever so helpful, the orange tip sign. And we come up here, and this is the same kind of donut area. So just a huge difference, just by doing some more texture edits and paying attention to some details. Gale Force bow, same exact bow, same exact stuff. Just jazzed up a little bit. And up the ladder, and our new fleecy box, which you should have seen one. And our monument block, which still says collect all 3 wool blocks, and they're not wool. But we're just going to call that a feature. Switching to spectator, because we can, and just to show you, it's pretty much the same. Just spiced up colors, spiced up design. A little more visual interest added where I could. No bats. Where's the bats? There's no bats in this map. Bedrock uses a tagging system. Maybe it's in Java. And I set each separate area to a specific biome that I could easily figure out what the tag was. And then I modified all the vanilla mobs. Thus, I can control, finally, what spawns where. Dungeon 3. Creeper Spires. Pure obsidian spires. I like the idea of obsidian spires. But truly, the reason I used obsidian is because bedrock looks terrible. And obsidian can't be blown up. Now, I could have done mob grieving. Maybe mob grieving wasn't a toggable option at the time. I'm not sure. And we have the entrance, which is meant to be interesting, different, imposing, inviting, all at once. And my theory is, you explore and you start to see, oh. But so many people do not do that. They try to start digging through there and building through and spilling the lava everywhere, and, you know, whatever. Another feature of this area, aside from areas that aren't loaded, is there's a lot of random poke holes that just fall into pits of lava, which, I agree, isn't very nice. But it is what it is. I think there's probably 3 different types of creepers. Regular, fast, and creepy creeper, or charged creeper. They spawn in charged, so they have a bigger explosion. At the time, I don't think I had access to, or I just simply did not know how to change the fuse time or the explode time or whatever. Hyper creeper. And the only way to kind of designate to the player that they're different is this creeper doesn't have any potion effects, it's normal. This has some kind of potion effect, there's something different about it. And then the other one's a charged creeper, so there's obviously something different about it. And I did experiment with putting some spawners up top, so that in a couple cases, creepers might try to jump down on you. I've watched plenty of players get lost in this. Part of the issue is the obsidian. Without night vision, the obsidian is very, very dark, even with placing torches. It's difficult to see. The floor kind of meshes in with the walls. There are paths, and if you go along each path and place your torches and take your time, then I don't think it's that big an issue. I kind of played through this area 2.5, 3 times when updating it for Bedrock. And there are a couple places where I still got lost. I'll show those to you in the Bedrock, because I addressed the issue there. But for the most part, everything is pretty much the same. But I'm talking a lot about the improvements without actually showing off the improvements. So here is the improved area. The outside walls have the gradient applied. And then we come up to the same ancient spires. And we have the creeper face, which is a creeper face green. And with a lot of variety. I really like that I thought to use the copper block here. Let me switch to creative here, because I want kind of the real feel. I'm hoping I have this lip here, that when you're here and you notice it comes down, that helps you look around a little bit. So that's one improvement I've done. And I have this not just a flat square. So I'm hoping that helps the players a little more. Into here, follow the paths to find your way. A little tip, I did go around and make sure that the loot chest Still makes sense for the balance. You can see here our first little creeper guy. He's shorter and smaller than the regular creepers. He's faster. He puffs up really quick, but actually takes a little while to explode. I thought that was a fair balance. He'll rush up to you, and you have a little bit more time to go away. A lot of these are essentially the same, although I've put in some of my custom creatures, so you could spawn them if you want. This is the Spirestone creeper. And he matches the Spirestone. And here is a Spirestone block. It has the top texture of obsidian and the side texture of ancient debris. And it takes a long time to break, but it's not impossible. It doesn't take as long as obsidian would take. But it's discouraging. It's discouraging to tunnel through, but you can tunnel through it. And then we have our diamond ore, which I would have never added before. But like I said, I've changed my thinking on a lot of these things. Once you've kind of accessed or unlocked a resource, why not just give the player access to it? And so by now, I figure you should have access to diamonds, and so you do. I think I used glass blocks in multiple chests, and in only a few called them safety glass. So I updated that, so anytime I give you glass blocks, it's called safety glass, because that's kind of funny. And there's escape potion and small potion, and we've seen these before, or you've seen some of them. Except now, as I've explained, they're actually a food item, which means they can stack if I want them to be able to stack. So that's kind of interesting. And with this just not being obsidian, granted, we're in night vision, but it's a lot easier to see what's going on. Now, if you take your time and place torches as you go, you can explore everything, and eventually it even will loop you around. There is one place that I walked past, that many people walked past, and that is this path, which goes up to the middle spire. And that is because you are coming through here. And you're facing this direction. This diversion was not here, so you just go. And even when you come this way, it's easy to miss. So I actually built this just for this version to kind of help address that, and even I think put a tip sign there with a hint that, hey, that goes to the final area. So if you're not ready to go to the final area, if you want to explore everything else first, go ahead. We have this tall spire with this fast travel chest. Quick way down. Just don't throw it into lava. Or have something to eat to help you with the lava. And then we have this path. And it goes down. It goes down and down and down. I dug a hole straight down and placed glass there. There's lots of holes, and that's so you can fall if you're not paying attention, and maybe you get a little dizzy if you're not careful. But as a please don't make me go up that again, and not wanting to figure out how to build a path out, one of the chests down there will have plenty of scaffolding. You can go here and build the scaffolding straight up and break through all the glass, and it's just an easy way out. There are a lot of little things jutting out, and that's so you can build blocks, attach blocks to things in order to not have to just jump straight down if you don't want to. In the very first version, that is something that wasn't there. And then... Ah, yes. The water drop. Don't do it like that. That will kill you. Just used more copper. Tried to use different blocks wherever I could. The beds in here are colored with the more vibrant colors of the custom monument blocks that I ended up going with. So I thought that was kind of an Easter egg, I suppose you could call it. And then you have the final area, which has really not changed that much. Here is the entire Creeper Spire area. Climbing up all the way to the top and then climbing down. And you're still basically at, oh my gosh, the same level. Suppose if you were speed running, you'd want to come into the first area because you could probably get there pretty quick. Oh man, it would not take long. It would not take long to get there. The last area, checking my video files, we should have some time, I want to go over is the monument. My original concept for the monument was it's destroyed and you're restoring it, including building it. But when I made the tweaks for my map for Bedrock, I wanted to really update the buildings. This is very much a old, probably outdated style of Minecraft building. And my style of Minecraft building is maybe not that advanced, but I can look at a bunch of tutorials. I can look at things and see what I think looks good and then try to mix a few things. You definitely see that with the safety hut, with the monument. There's not really a lot of other buildings. But I do like the idea of restoring the monument. So you come here and there's missing blocks and it's an obvious pattern and those specific blocks are available. And then you rebuild it. And you're kind of physically taking place in the restoration. I think it's an interesting concept that I'm going to revisit in future maps. But for now, updating Sandstone and my future plans of updating Happy, Love, and Float, I think they'll just have pre-built monuments because I didn't want to spend so much time on trying to figure that out just yet. But there's places for the gold block, the iron block, the basic blocks. There's a separate area. It's not a sanctuary necessarily because terrible things can still spawn up here. But it's nice. I like it. It's nostalgic for me. But looking at what I've been able to build, I like it. I really like the new design. I kind of wish this dome was a little taller, and I tried to experiment with making that happen, but I just... I'm learning. I'm learning. I used walls, I used stairs, I used all sorts of blocks. These ducks naturally spawn in this area. This area is a biome that cannot have any mobs, even at night. This area is completely safe, with the exception of if anything spawns in there and follows you all the way up the stairs. You come in here and there are places for all the things. And I believe I showed you what happens when you place a block. And I didn't have target blocks here. So I'm still iterating. Different little things. This area is for all the fragments that you can find. So you can keep track. You can also keep track by looking at them in your inventory. They're all tagged with names that say where you found them. So you can keep track. And really, you only need 9. There's 10 It's no longer an optional. It doesn't call it bonus. It's one of the 4 monument blocks that must be returned to the monument. But you can even craft them with diamonds. You don't want to... If you don't want to find them. Now, these ducks may not sound like ducks. You might be saying, hey, bRanN, they sound like chickens. And that's true. That's because they're using the chicken sounds. Because I don't remember where I got the duck noises. I'm pretty sure I asked permission from someone to use them in a map. But I didn't get permission to put them in a map that's going to be sold. That's a little different. So I just want to avoid any potential issues. Now, with the power of cheating... We have the monument blocks. We explored and conquered the dungeons. We are fantastic. We even crafted the exploration monument block. We did it together. Oh, it's so fantastic. And look at all of our rewards. And, oh my gosh, I even get to keep the monument block in my inventory because I'm in creative mode, like a dirty cheater. And we pick up all our rewards. And we come over here and we go, boom. And it's satisfying. It sounds so great. I think the reward for each one is essentially the same. It's some torches and some food and netherite. Do you only get... Oh, I didn't pick up the 3rd batch. Yeah. And a totem of undying and some diamonds. And for the 4th one, you get the sound, and then you get a 2nd sound, and it says, congratulations, and it looks so colorful. You completed the monument. Thanks for playing. Please check out my other maps as they're released. And you get some awesome boots, and you get some rockets, and you get an amazing elytra. And let's switch to survival mode, because I have a terrible time trying to fly in creative. I just switched to creative light, and you have 777 levels. And then your reward for completing the map is you get to just fly around and look at stuff. I think that's a cool reward. I don't know what else kind of reward you could really get. I suppose you could give somebody, ouch, maxed out gear and just let them go wreck the place, or you could give them a bunch of TNT, but not everybody enjoys doing that. You know, so just being able to fly around, I think is pretty cool. Get to see the thing that you just conquered in a whole new perspective. And speaking of rewards, ow, for you taking the time to watch through these, I hope you will consider purchasing this map once it's out, just because it'll support me. It'll help me justify all the time I spend. You come over here. There is a hidden chest. If you're having trouble, there's a couple exploration block fragments you can use. There's a early netherite ingot. There's a smile of diamonds. Just for you. Special thanks. Not going to be trapped in the full version. Not going to be another... Not going to be like in the Pantheon map. Honest. Anyway. This has been bRanN. Thank you so much for joining me on this strange series, adventure. Have a great day.